And it looks like we're live, everybody.
Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
Let me just turn on the transcription
Can't forget that.
so that anyone who is having a hard time.
and it
hearing.
looks like we're live, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Let me just turn on the transcription.
There we go.
We do.
We are we are live, and we are in the hands of a rank amateur in terms of live streaming who hopes to get better one day. I apologize to all of our viewers out there in YouTube land. But the main point of this interview is for you to meet Ruben Ryan and Andrew Gipson, who are co-teaching a class for us this fall starting on September 2nd or 3rd.
I believe it is third.
It is the
September
third.
3rd,
It's the one
Saturday,
that's the Saturday.
for 10 weeks for an hour each Saturday on how to be a great improviser. We call it Improv for All.
Mhm.
Ruben, Ryan, introduce yourself.
Well, yes, my name is Ruben, and I have been teaching for CADA for a number of years now. And the thing I specialize in is improv. Um, I think that improv is a very valuable thing for everyone to learn. It can greatly help with things like socializing skills, emotional awareness, just being aware of other people. It can help. It can help with context. It can help with learning more abstract concepts. And of course, you get to be funny, which everyone likes, except for those strange people who don't like funny things.
Like Eeyore.
Yes, although one could argue that Eeyore may have a sense of humor, but yeah, no, it's a great class. We aim to teach a lot of different things. Specifically, sorry, we teach one thing, it's improv, but we believe that improv itself applies to a bunch of different things, including just how well you get along in the world. I don't know what I would do if I hadn't learned improv. It certainly makes it easier for me to get through life, um, specifically with socializing. It's a great place for our students to get together in a safe environment to learn about how to have this experience with comedy and improv. One of the big concepts that we talk about is, of course, yes and the idea of acknowledgement, acceptance, and then adding to it. In other words, if me and Andy were doing a scene and he said, "Hey, get in my car," and I said, "That's not a car, it's an airplane," well, what are we doing there? I have refused to accept, I have not acknowledged nor accepted the reality he set forward to me. But if I were a good,
Wow.
if I'm a good scene partner, I would say, yes, let's get in your van, and then we can go to the drive-in movie theater. And so now we're on the same page. We're agreeing. We're developing something. We're building a scene together as performers and artists.
And how would this apply to people of all abilities?
Well, that's a great question. Um, Frequently, there are some people's abilities struggle socially. I've never been the most social person, and this helps people to learn how to better interact with people. It has made me more sensitive to other people's situations and feelings. It has made me a better listener. Once you start, because listening is probably the core skill that it works on. Like, you can't do improv if you're not listening to other people. Frequently, typically, performers are coming at will come into improv for one of two ends of sort of a performer spectrum, where essentially some people are real hesitant to put themselves into that performer space, to enter what I would call a state of play. Now, they're hesitant. So the trick there is to learn how to help them enter that state of play. What can help them get to that point where they are no longer worried, they're no longer afraid of what they need to say next, but they are just enjoying the experience of playing. At the other end of that, we have people who are all too ready to just jump into that spotlight immediately and start just saying whatever comes to their minds. And when you have this situation, you need to learn what you're helping a person do is learn how to slow down and listen to other people so that they can build together. And ideally, and so all performers are somewhere in between these two things. And so my goal is to help them learn how to play together.
I think oftentimes we've met individuals um, who are afraid of social interaction.
Absolutely. Uh,
They they are afraid, they don't know what to say, they don't know when to say it or how to respond. And improv gives them a fun place where they can practice without fear of being criticized.
exactly. It is a safe place to practice these types of skills of just playing with other people. I think that playing with other people is one of the most valuable ways that you can better learn how to be human, really.
Some of the things that you do in an improv class involve emotions, like recognizing facial emotions and expressions and physical emotions. That can be very helpful for some people, especially on the autism spectrum, who might not have that innate ability to understand an emotional expression. This also gives them a place where they can practice.
Absolutely.
And there are
Uh,
certain games that are geared just for emotions, correct?
that is true. I have a number of, we work with a number of different types of games that encourage a sort of emotional reasoning or help explore different types of emotions. I have a number of games where it's about getting the actors to understand how they can use emotions in their performances and in their interactions. Emotions are heavily connected to ourselves and characters. Characters have emotional responses, and that's really what allows them to be exciting, entertaining, and it's what allows them to interact with each other and create new scenarios. Uh, like, just as an example, if me and Andy were doing a scene, and if my character has an emotional reaction to Andy's character, well, that's great. We've just set ourselves up already because now I know how my character feels about him, and he's probably having an emotional reaction to my emotional reaction. And now he knows how his character feels about me, and now we have a rough idea of how we're going to navigate that interaction.
And I think it puts a safe barrier between your real emotions and the ability to explore emotions and understand them. So I might not really be mad when I'm getting mad at your character. I'm displaying that. And that teaches me how to pull back from being controlled by my own emotions.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
So I
Um,
am now the person who's in control of what emotion I choose to put out there for my scene partner.
that's a great point. Yeah.
When you do your class, what kinds of abilities are in the class?
Well, I have worked with all types of abilities. Even before I worked for CADA, I had coached and trained adults and children. Inside of CADA, I have worked with people of all types of abilities. A large number of students on the autism spectrum. I've also worked with people with cerebral palsy. I've worked with people in wheelchairs. I've worked with let's see, I've a wide range of cognitive and physical disabilities.
Right. Um, One thing that when people ask us, well, how do I know whether my child or my student will like this? We ask, well, first of all, can we communicate? That's important. There's two things we really need to be able to do: communicate in some way. Doesn't have to be with a lot of words. It can be with facial expressions. It can be with a keyboard that they press and the words come out. I have worked with individuals
Mhm.
like that as
Absolutely.
well. So we
Oh,
try to be,
legally blind people. I've worked with legally blind people.
and legally deaf people and legally everything. The important thing is that they want to be there and they enjoy the idea of acting, of becoming another character.
I
If they're
mean,
not interested in that, then they shouldn't be taking our class. It's really for people who love to watch their favorite shows and reenact a character, who like to repeat dialogue, perhaps, who
People who
like
want to play.
who
I
people who
mean,
want to play.
even then, give it a shot. I mean, you might enjoy it regardless if it's something that you think you're into.
That's true. Some people come to improv and they don't know what they're in for, and they get a pleasant surprise of something they didn't know they needed all the time.
Now, sometimes we have students who are a little bit afraid, and how do we handle that?
Well, we find it very important to make it a safe learning environment where there's no sense of being pressured to participate. We want people to want to participate. And specifically, I've had a long history of students who have wanted to sit out a class and watch to see it first. We had one of our longest and students who have I've had a great journey with. When they first came into, at the time, in-person studio, they were very hesitant to join the action that was going on. And they just sat there and watched for a few weeks until eventually they saw something going on. Something happened that made them want to play. And that's really what it's all about, is trying to get people to want to play with us and do these scenes and learn and embrace these wacky skill sets.
And I would say to parents, if you have a child who is interested but maybe hesitant, you are more than welcome to come and observe a class, whether
Absolutely.
it's online or whether it's in a real studio. Eventually, we're going to be back in a real studio, I'm sure. And let them observe. We always are willing to talk with parents about things that we can do to make it better for their individual students.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we need to know, well, who's their favorite character? And once we find that out, Ruben will slyly bring that character into an improv, and boom, suddenly they want to be in that scene. So you would be amazed at some of the work that comes out of our classes from individual students' interests that are brought onto the stage.
Absolutely.
We have one student who just loves Piglet, and he used to play very angry characters until we found out he liked Piglet. And when he became Piglet, suddenly he was no longer angry. He had this soft little Piglet voice, and he was a completely different person. So those are some of the things that we love to explore in our improv class.
One of the most enjoyable things in the world whenever someone discovers something like that for us.
Yes, it is a laboratory and it's ongoing. Many of our students have taken this class for years because it's never the same.
And improv is like playing an instrument. It's all about the repetition of the skills, um, because the more you do it, the more you will learn it, and the more it will become part of you. So there is no limit on the amount of times that someone could take an improv class.
And the more that we see these individuals taking the class, the stronger they grow, the more confident they grow, and their social skills gain too. Learning how to take turns is a big one. For some students, that's a very hard skill to learn. But
Absolutely.
but in improv, you learn that, okay, I'm not on stage now. I have to sit quietly and watch. And then I will get to go on stage and have fun and be silly. So I let other people have a turn, then I have a turn.
Absolutely. It,
Absolutely.
Starting September 3rd, you can register on our website, centerforada.org. If you have any questions about our classes, feel free to email us at info@centerforada.org. And will be happy to answer any of your questions about the classes. We hope to see you signing up. We have 3 classes this fall. Improv for All is on Saturdays. And then from 1 to 2, we have a voice acting class, and Andy's going to be a co teacher for that class. That is
Yeah.
another very popular class for our students.
Mhm.
I suggest signing up early because that one fills fast. it's something about it's something about being in control of your voice and empowering it and learning how to change it. And our students just really love it. I think it is due to the rise of animation in our culture.
It's very popular.
Yeah, there's so much animation these days, so many different characters. And quite frankly, if you're good at it, it can become a career. Right, Andy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do for a living is voice acting. It's a lot of fun too. And improv definitely helps.
And then the final class is going to be on Thursdays? When's it
I
on?
think it's Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. And it is creating videos for social media, such as TikTok and Instagram. If you've often looked at those channels and you really are interested in learning how to make your own videos, our instructors will be showing you that and putting your work up for other people to see and to share. So we hope you will go to our website, centerforada.org/classes, and you'll find out how to go about joining us.
And I might actually take that class too.
Very good. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We thought it would be interesting. It might be interesting to learn a little bit about what goes on in our classes and encourage new people to sign up because we think you'll really like it. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.